Thanks for wasting another perfectly good year listening to Car Talk. Now, as 2017 winds down, we'd like you to think about all the productive time that you spent listening to NPR, keeping on top of the non-fake news. When you support your public radio station, you make it possible for them and NPR to report on the stories that affect your community and the world. Now, to help keep the facts coming next year, we hope you'll make one last donation to your station. Go to donate.npr.org/cartalk and then share why you donated using the hashtag WhyPublicRadio. And thanks.
Hello and welcome to Car Talk from National Public Radio with us, Click and Clack, the Tappet Brothers, and we're broadcasting this week from Oscar De La Rental's office here at Car Talk Plaza.
Now, this is from Dave Barry. I mean, if you haven't read this, and I was just commenting to Dougie, I think I read Dave Barry every week. Somehow, I never read the ones that people send me.
The good ones, you mean?
The good ones. And I like... We are here in Oscar De La Rental's office, but you wouldn't know that from the opening. Here's how he opens. I believe that in general, women are saner than men. For example, if you see people who have paid good money to stand in an outdoor stadium on a freezing December day wearing nothing on the upper halves of their bodies except paint, those people will be male. That's true.
Yeah. And if they weren't, more people would be watching on television.
Right. Without males, there would be no such words as wedgie and noogie. Yeah, women would never come up with a word like noogie.
No. I mean, and when was the last time a woman gave another woman a wedgie?
Probably never.
My wife gave me a wedgie the other day, but we'll talk about that some other time.
So I sincerely believe that women are wiser than men with the exception of one key area, and that area is clothing sizes. In this particular area, women are insane. We've discussed this in the past.
We have.
Usually around Christmas when we tried to buy something for our wives.
Yeah.
When a man shops for clothes, his primary objective, follow me closely here, is to purchase clothes that fit on his particular body. A man will try on a pair of pants, and if those pants are too small, he'll try on a larger pair. And when he finds a pair that fits, he buys them. Most men don't spend a lot of time fretting about the size of their pants. Many men wear jeans with the size printed right on the back label, so that if you're standing behind a man in a supermarket line, you can read his waist and inseam size. A man could have, say, a 52-inch waist and a 30-inch inseam, and his label would proudly display this information, which is basically the same as having a sign that says, "Howdy, my butt is the size of a Federal Express truck." The situation is very different with women. When a woman shops for clothes, her primary objective is not to find clothes that fit her particular body. She would like for that to be the case, but her primary objective is to purchase the clothes that are the size she wore when she was 19 years old. This will be some arbitrary number such as 8 or 10. If a size 8 outfit doesn't fit her, she won't move on to a larger size. She can't. Her size is 8.
Her size is 8, that's right.
So she will keep trying on size 8 items until they start fitting her. The other day, my wife, Michelle, was in a terrific mood. And you know why? Because she had successfully put on a size 6 outfit. She said this made her feel wonderful. She said this is a direct quote. "I wouldn't care if these pants were this big." Here she holds her arms far apart. "As long as they have a 6 on them."
Well,
here's how you could get rich. Start a women's clothing store called Size 2, in which all garments, including those that were originally intended to be restaurant awnings, had labels with the words Size 2. I bet you'd sell clothes like crazy. You'd probably get rich and you could retire and maybe take up some philanthropic activity to benefit humanity. I'm thinking here of something like professional lawnmower racing. Size 2.
Well,
That's
as is almost always the case, Dave Barry hits the nail on the head. Now, if you want to talk to us about your car or whatever women's clothing you happen to be wearing, the number is 1-888-CAR-TALK. That's 888-227-8255. Hello, you're on Car Talk.
Hi, this is Margie from Ann Arbor.
Hi, Margie.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
Pretty good.
Not bad.
That's good.
Well,
We won't ask you what size. Go ahead. What's your question?
I don't reveal my size on the radio.
No, it's like revealing your age.
Right, exactly.
Well, women are very secretive about that, too.
age and size, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not going to disclose either one.
Guys, they don't care.
No.
My brother tells everyone he's 73, and they say, geez, you look good for
You look good for 73. And I actually don't.
So what's up, Margie?
Well, I have a 1995 Ford Contour, and I moved to Michigan about 6 months ago, and I'm driving right now about 40 miles to work each way. And before that, I hadn't really been driving the car very much. And when I moved here, I found a mechanic at a garage right near my house that I really like, and I really want to trust this guy.
But you're conflicted over this, I see.
Yeah, it's a big problem. So what happened was I took my car in to have the oil changed a couple weeks ago, and he told me that my alignment is off.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it's about time for new tires. And he told me that before I got new tires, I should really have the alignment done. So I have always thought that the way to tell if your alignment was off is to take your hands off the wheel and see if the car stays going straight. So I did that, and my car stayed perfectly straight.
Mm-hmm.
So now I'm thinking, well, he told me I need my alignment done, but
I don't
it doesn't
believe
seem
him.
like the alignment's off. So then I was talking to someone at work who told me that there's some other type of alignment thing that has to do with the tilt of your tires or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So my question is whether or not I should believe this mechanic, who I really want to believe because he seems really nice. But I don't know whether he told me the alignment's going to cost $50, and I don't know whether I should spend the $50 to get the alignment done.
Cool.
Oh, geez.
This is good. This is good.
How many times have you visited this guy to have your car serviced?
I think that was the second time I had the oil changed, and they replaced the battery for me.
Okay. And you've never lived in New York or New Jersey?
I have, but not with this car.
Okay.
I bought the car in North
Because
Carolina.
that would explain the battery swap.
No. That
Which
would
only
would
takes place in
that
New
would
Jersey.
explain the lack of trust.
Oh,
That would explain the lack of trust.
The lack of trust. Yeah, well, I was brought up in the New York, New Jersey area, so.
There you go.
so what was it about this guy that makes you want to trust him? I
Well,
want to learn
because
something
I guess
here.
actually
Me
what
too.
really happened was when I first brought the car in, I brought it in for an oil change and like a tune-up and was expecting that I needed to have a whole bunch of other stuff done. And he told me I really didn't. He told me that all I needed was the oil change.
Good.
The setup.
Did I fall for it?
And
Was I a
Act
big
2,
sucker?
the sting.
Did you see that movie, The Sting?
Rent it. Well, look, I don't, to be perfectly honest, you can't really tell by letting go of the wheel whether or not the thing is in proper alignment. In fact, if it's towed out too far, that if the two front wheels are pointing far away from each other, the fronts of them are, as opposed to being towed in,
Right.
where the fronts of the two wheels are pointed too close to each other, the car will actually track pretty well.
Okay.
But what it might do is wear the tires out on the inside
Well,
edge.
that's what he said. He told me that the tires are feathered.
Yes, and that's what made him say to you that you needed an alignment. He did that on the basis of how the tires were wearing.
Right.
On the
And-
basis of a careful examination of the wear on the tire.
Yes.
And here he was trying to do a good deed.
And here you are mistrusting
And
him.
I'm mistrusting him.
Based on some old wives' tale that you heard probably from your father.
Right.
Because fathers are the biggest perpetrators of old wives' tales.
Indeed.
No, you may well need an alignment and tires.
Okay.
I would trust him until he gives you more evidence that you shouldn't. I mean, I think he's doing the right thing.
Okay.
This guy sounds like...
Sounds like a keeper to me.
oh,
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
See
Okay.
you, Margie.
Thanks a lot.
Bye-bye.
Okay, bye-bye.
1-888-CAR-TALK. That's 888-227-8255. Hello, you're on Car Talk.
Hello, yes, this is Tim from Henderson, North Carolina.
Hi, Tim.
Henderson, how you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you today?
Well, not bad, not bad.
Good.
That's good.
What's on your mind, Tim?
Yes, I have a Nissan Sentra with 120,000 miles on it, and occasionally it embarrasses me.
Really?
More so than simply that it's a Nissan Sentra with that many miles.
I mean, as far as its performance goes?
Oh, it runs fine. It does wonderfully.
Oh, is it the aroma that embarrasses you?
It's the aroma that embarrasses me.
Yes, we call that AA. You need to join AA, aroma embarrassment. Yes.
Embarrassment is that's with an A? Embarrassment?
No, aroma, I wasn't thinking of embarrassment. Aroma Anonymous.
Anonymous, that's it.
Well, I'm a pastor here in Henderson, and often have folks riding in the car with me that either from the church or the conference, that sort of thing.
And they all say, Reverend, excuse me.
No one says anything. They're too polite.
They're too polite. Now, how do you tell the
you know,
Reverend?
amazingly, some of them do say something.
They really
When I try
do.
to blame it on the car, they sort of look at me like I've blamed it on the dog under the couch.
This aroma you get, I trust, is a familiar aroma.
Fairly familiar to most of us, yeah.
Yes, one that you might smell on a crowded elevator.
Right.
And does this happen?
Or a crowded church, for that matter.
Are there any particular circumstances under which this happens, or is it apt to happen at random?
Well, I've accused the car of only doing it at the most inopportune circumstances, but I tend to notice it more when I've just come to a recent stop and idling at a stoplight, that sort of thing.
Yeah, well, the aroma you're getting is hydrogen sulfide coming from the catalytic converter. And there may not be any remedy. Has the car done this for a long time?
Only for the last 60,000 miles or so.
Is that all?
Yeah. Well, there may be no remedy. You can try different brands of gasoline. I don't know if you've tried that already. Sometimes that works. So obviously, a gasoline that has less sulfur in it than another would tend to ameliorate the situation. On the other hand, there may be no remedy except for replacing the catalytic converter. And I assumed you've had the engine tuned up in the last 60,000 miles or so it runs well. And aside from the aroma, it runs great.
Runs fine, yeah, no complaints about it.
Yeah, I mean, I guess with everything in life, you got the choice of trying to fix it or trying to cover it up.
Have you tried like those pine sol air fresheners? I mean, those are real cheap. You can get those.
But you need 100 of those. What do you do? Hang them underneath the car around the catalytic
Well,
converter?
you need to kind of draw them like a sword. I mean, as soon as the aroma comes out, you need to bring these into play.
So you're proposing the cover it up
I
technique.
think so.
Cover it up.
I think the answer is to try switching brands of gasoline.
Okay.
And when you try, I mean, you've got to stick with one brand for several weeks to see if it really works. And if you find a brand that works, great. If you find one when you find that none of this helps, I think what you have to do is resort to replacing the catalytic converter, which is probably all used up by now anyway.
Yeah, and that's part of the reason that you're getting this odor, because the catalysts are worn out, and it's going to cost you a few bucks to replace it.
A few hundred.
Yeah, what you might want to do if you want to be cheap about it, but maybe the parishioners will just chip in given the problem.
Yeah, you could have a special collection. For just this. I think it might go over well.
And if they won't, I'll just invite them to ride with me.
Right. You can call it you can call it the Catholic Converter Collection. See you, Reverend.
Bye, Tim.
Good luck.
Bye bye.
Right.
See you.
1-888-CAR-TALK or 1-888-227-8255. Hello, you're on Car Talk.
Hello.
Hello.
This is Fran in Columbia, Missouri.
Fran.
Hi.
Columbia, Missouri.
That's right.
What's shaking?
I inherited from my grandfather a 1989 Lincoln Town Car. Now, yeah. The good news is it only has 43,000 miles on it. I mean, literally, this is one of those
Little old lady stories.
Yeah, little old man story.
Yeah.
Now, the reason I ended up with this car is that I have a 15-year-old daughter who will soon be driving, and my father thought, well, here's a safe car. A lot of metal around her.
Yeah, but she wouldn't be caught dead in one of those, would she?
Well, my husband had to fly down to Florida and drive this car back. Now, when he got to Florida, called him on the phone. I said, oh, so tell me about the car. Being a man of few words, he goes, it's a hog.
Yeah, it sure is.
Well, it is.
So, he drove it home, and my daughter walked out and took a look at it, and she goes, cool, a party barge.
There you go. She was looking at that back seat.
She liked it.
I know. Well, see, now, this concerns me. I got to say, she said, I can fit 10 people in the back seat.
A party barge. I love it.
Yeah.
So, I've been looking at this car thinking, well, what am I going to do with it, you know? I went to drive it, and it makes I guess it's the belts go, you know, make this real ee kind of sound, and then when you turn the heater on, more ee noises start coming. And
Yeah, those are nothing.
Well, you want to keep all those noises because when she tries to sneak out of the house at 11:30, you'll hear her start the car. Don't fix any of those noises.
Yeah. And you'll hear her coming home.
Well, that's the other thing. I figure, you know, Columbia's not a very big town. I mean, this girl driving around in this car, my friends will be able to keep an eye on her.
Sure.
Yeah, I saw Erica, you know, downtown in the car. So, but, you know, then
So,
All them fellas hanging out the windows.
so your daughter wants the car.
well,
She wants to drive it, and you have some kind of second thoughts about it.
well, I'm wondering, you know, I mean, she may have to quit school and get a job at McDonald's just to afford the gas on it.
Well, I mean, I'm thinking of it. I mean, if I had a 15-year-old daughter, would I want her to be driving this car? And I haven't convinced myself one way or the other. Granted, it's a lot of iron around you, which makes it safe. On the other hand, it handles like for nothing.
Right.
I mean, it's rotten.
It's
terrible.
terrible.
It's lousy.
It's horrible.
It can't go around a curve without tipping upside down. I mean,
where she's going to be going with this, the handling of the car
Well-
is not going to be there'll be other handling going on.
Oh, no, that's it. It's sold.
That's it. It's gone.
That's all she had to hear. That's it.
I'm buying her a little two-seater thing with bucket
You need a
seats.
two-seater there. She needs a Geo Metro.
Or a
Oh,
motorcycle.
Yeah, Geo Metro. Well, Fran, I had to tell you, it was my moral responsibility as a parent.
No, I
Well,
think she
I
will
mean,
not
what
get
if-
into trouble with this car. I think she should drive it.
Well, maybe there's some way that you could modify the back seat to make it uninviting.
Yeah.
Well, my thought was to take all the seats out and just put like an airline pilot seat right in the center.
There you
Yeah,
go.
that would be good. I'm saying you should keep this car. You should take it down to your mechanic, have him change all the vital fluids, have him change the belts, take a look at the hoses and stuff that have been sitting there for all those years, make sure the tires are okay, and start giving Erica some lessons in driving the monster because it's not going to be easy.
Yeah, she can go to James T. Kirk School of Starship
Right.
Driving.
All right.
Yeah, maybe Joe Hazelwood's still around. Is he still kicking?
Yeah, he is.
Thanks a lot, guys. I appreciate your advice.
Yeah, I'm
Good
sure
luck.
you do.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Whew.
Hey, look, do you remember anything about last week's puzzler?
No, I don't. Would you give me a hint?
Well, I'll give you a great hint. It was about time passing slowly, very, very slowly.
Sort of like my first marriage.
Well, no, that's not it. I'll refresh your memory in just a minute.
Well, the front window needs a little repair. The passenger seat, that's a beanbag chair. There's a snow chain stuck on a left rear tire. Oh, Pinto Squire.
And even though Beethoven rolls over and tells Tchaikovsky the bad news whenever he hears us say it, this is NPR.
We'd like to say a quick thank you to one of our sponsors who brings you the following message. Better World Club, the nation's only eco-friendly auto club. Now, I know one of these days you're going to break down. How do I know that? Well, it's easy. You're taking car advice from Car Talk. So before that happens, there's roadside assistance from Better World Club. Car Talk fans can save 20% by going to betterworldcartalk.com and using the top secret code that we've printed there for everyone to see.
Hi, we're back. You're listening to Car Talk with us, Click and Clack, the Tappert brothers, here to talk about cars, car repair, and the answer to last week's puzzler. Right, you ready?
I'm ready. I still don't remember it.
We have a friend who shall remain nameless who works at a government facility and does very important work.
It's almost a given. Government facility.
It's going to be important work, right? Anyway, one day he's at his desk working away, reading some very technical manual when he's awakened, startled by the sound of his stomach growling. He turns in his seat and looks at the electric clock on the wall behind him. This is one of those clocks that you see in office buildings everywhere. You know, it plugs into the wall. You got it?
Yeah.
It's one of those big analog round things.
Yeah.
He looks at the clock, and as he turns back to his work, he says, gee, it's obviously too early to eat lunch. I must have forgotten to eat breakfast. He returns to work. A short time later, he's again startled by the growling of his stomach. He turns to look at the clock again. This time he notices that it's later than it was the first time that he looked. Duh. But it's still too early for lunch. The second hand is sweeping, the hour hand is moved, and the minute hand is in a different position than it was before. And in fact, the hands of the clock are exactly 180 degrees apart, like they would be if it were 6 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
As he turns back to his desk, again thinking about how interminably long this morning seems, his stomach growls for the third time, and he says, "The clock is broken." How did he know the clock was broken? Well, I mean, I purposely made the narrative rather lengthy so as to obfuscate.
Yeah, of course. We knew that.
And confuse.
Yeah.
And did I do that?
You succeeded. 'Cause I don't know the answer.
Well, you do know the answer.
I do.
You know, let's say he looked at the clock and he saw that the hands were 180 degrees apart, but the clock read 11:25.
Yeah.
But that's impossible.
It's impossible for it to be 11:25?
It's impossible for it to be 11:25
Oh.
and the hands be 180 degrees apart.
Of course.
Because when it's 11:25, in fact,
our hand should be beyond 11.
It should be 5/12 of the way to 12. When it's 11:30, shouldn't it be halfway between 11 and 12?
Yeah, but...
Right? But if it's exactly on 11 and the minute hand is exactly on the 5...
But you didn't say that.
I didn't. I just said that the hands were 180 degrees apart.
And
that's
they
what
could
he
be
noticed.
180 degrees.
Not at 11:25.
Who said anything about 11:25?
Well, that's what he noticed.
How about 11:27?
Wasn't 11:27.
But the hands would have been 180 degrees apart.
But that's how he knew the clock was broken.
Oh, jeez.
He knew the clock was broken because it read a time that was impossible.
Oh, man, this is really sucky.
No, it isn't. It's wonderful.
Oh, man, you are going to get so much hate mail. I'll be on your side. I'm your brother.
Oh, I doubt it.
I'll defend you to the death.
I doubt it.
But I have to say
doubt
that
you'll-
this stinks to high heaven.
I doubt
To
you'll-
high heaven, I tell you. This stinks a lot.
They're like rats leaving a sinking ship. Berman has run out.
I mean, sure.
What? Sure. I could have merely said the clock reads 9:15 and the two hands are opposite each other, 180 degrees. Is that a possibility? And you would have said, no, that's impossible.
No, it's not.
So
Yeah.
I had to I had to clever it up, so to speak.
Wow.
Come on.
Fine. All right, fine. I'll give it to you.
It's wonderful to have such a ringing endorsement.
No, I understand the difficulty of coming up with a puzzler that doesn't stink out loud. And you
Week after week after week.
And I don't expect you to come up with 52 of them a year.
Well, I didn't, obviously.
No, nonetheless, we have a winner anyway. I mean, somebody won.
Well, Pyrrhic victory. Jeez. You might as whatever she gets, you might as well just throw it out.
How'd you know it's a she?
I know it's a
It is
she.
It's Margie Belsky from Medford, Oregon. And for having her bogus answer selected at random from among all the bogus answers that we received, Marie will get a $25 gift certificate to the Car Talk Shameless Commerce Division. Congratulations, such as it is. Marie.
You done?
Yeah.
We'll have a new, hopefully not completely stinko puzzler coming up in the third half of today's show, so stay tuned for that.
Not completely stinko.
In the meantime, you can call us and ask questions about your car at
He's so depressed.
1-888-CAR-TALK. That's 888-2...
Well, you got to be ready to accept.
I'm a very sensitive guy. I hope you know that. 888-227-8255. Hello, you're on Car Talk.
Hi there.
Hi, who's this?
How you guys doing? This is Allison from Ohio.
Hey, Allison.
Hi.
Was that a stinko answer or what?
It was pretty bad.
Next caller.
So what's up, Allison?
Okay, I've got a 1990 Oldsmobile Cutlass Supreme.
Mm-hmm.
And I have this little alarm thing that goes off whenever I do something like turn off the car and leave the lights on.
Right.
Yeah.
It's just this little electronic beeping thing.
Yeah.
However, what's happening recently is whenever I have the lights on, I'm driving down the highway, my lights on, and I apply the gas pedal, the alarm starts going off.
Yeah.
But when I take my foot off the gas, it will go off, or if I put my foot on the brakes, it will go off.
Oh, so if you step on the gas, the little buzzer thing comes on.
Yes.
And stays on.
Yeah, until I take my foot off the gas.
Is it a buzz or is it a ding, 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 ding?
The ding ding.
So as long as you're if you coast, it goes off.
Yes.
But if you're accelerating, it goes ding-a-ling-a-ling.
Mm-hmm.
And if you brake, it goes off too.
Yes.
Oh.
What color is the car?
It's gray.
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 Mm-hmm. Is it a 2-door or 4-door?
It's 4-door.
4-door.
Mm-hmm.
I think I know the answer.
Really?
Do you?
I do.
Wonderful.
Really?
Well,
I don't.
I mean, again, I know the answer in the abstract.
Okay.
Well, that's good
I'll
enough.
take
It's a
that.
start.
Yeah, sure.
It's a start.
If you were to open your door
Mm-hmm.
while you were driving, you'd get the same ding, ding, ding.
I've never tried it, but
Try
I would
it.
think so. Okay.
Okay? I mean, just open the door a crack.
This is the basic dummy ding, ding, ding. Anything you do
Right.
that's
You leave the
stupid.
lights on, you leave the keys in.
You
Yeah.
open the door
open
while
the
the
door,
car
you
is
get the ding.
moving. It
So
ding, ding.
what I
Yeah.
think is happening is the little switch which keeps the thing from going ding, ding, ding
Mm-hmm.
is just on the hair's edge of being out of adjustment so that when you accelerate the car, you're distorting the frame enough
Ah.
so that it appears to the switch that the door is open or ajar.
Oh,
And then when you brake or slow down,
Mm-hmm.
okay,
Ah, I
then
like
you
it.
then you close the switch and the dinging stops. And it could be any of the 4 doors.
Okay, because I've tried slamming the door pretty hard when I'm going, like pulling it in.
Well, you know what to do? Open the window, and when it's doing this,
Uh-huh.
hang your arm out the window, and pull the door closer to you.
Okay.
It's most likely to be the driver's door
All right.
because that's the one that's used all the time.
Sure.
But it could be any of them.
Yeah, and suck it in toward you, and that'll pull it tight, and the ding ding should stop. And if it does, then at least you'll be able to go and tell someone exactly what to fix.
Okay. All right.
And it may even be the same switch that operates the dome light. I'm not sure,
All right.
but it may not be it may not be turning the dome light on, but it may be enough to turn this ding-a-ling thing on.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
See you, Allison.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Hi. 1-888-CAR-TALK. That's 888-227-8255. Hello, you're on Car Talk.
Hello, guys.
Hi, who's this?
This is Alan. I'm calling from Washington, D.C.
What's up, Alan?
Washington, D.C.
I don't actually have a serious car problem, an immediate problem.
Oh, you will when we get through with you.
Well, perhaps. But what I have is it's more of a philosophical dilemma, and I need advice.
Okay.
And the question is it better to have a competent mechanic who is a crook or an honest mechanic who doesn't know what he's doing?
Wow.
Boy. This was in Plato's Republic.
No, I think it was part of the analogy of the cave. Was it not? You know,
Allegory.
You know, it's funny. I mean, post hoc ergo. You won't believe this, but we were discussing this very philosophical question not more than 2 hours ago. Frequently, when you have things done, either to your car, to your house, any kind of services that you pay for, there's always the question, gee, was that guy just stupid or was he trying to sleaze me? And there's always the question of incompetence versus thievery.
Right. You know, what's the Latin expression for that? Ignoramus propter ergo sumus est.
Right, post hoc.
Right.
Right, post hoc.
If I had to choose, I would
you had to
choose
choose
an honest idiot. After all, I've chosen to be partners with my brother for all these years. That speaks for itself.
No, I mean, if you really have that choice, and unfortunately, most of the time, that's the choice that you do have. There are some people who are both competent and honest, but usually it's one of the other combinations. And I too would agree that if I had that choice to make, I would rather have somebody who was honest, be he competent or incompetent.
Now, if you look at the political arena, you find neither.
That's right. I mean, those are people who are dishonest and incompetent mostly everywhere.
Right. Those are the people that couldn't become like building contractors or auto mechanics.
Or lawyers, so they went into politics.
Yeah.
Right down there where you live, Alan. And is that the kind of person you want? No, but that's both incompetent and dishonest.
I would think I would
wants
take
that.
the honest guy and try to find the most competent, honest guy you can, but have a backup crook as in reserve in case you really need something fixed in a hurry, where you'll pay anything just to have it fixed.
Or a place where they'll take a check and you can stop payment.
Does that answer your question?
Indeed, it does.
It's a great question, Alan, I must say. It is a great question, and I'm sure we'll get calls from all the honest and competent automobile people in the world, both of them.
Thanks for your call.
See you.
Very satisfying reply. Thank you very much.
See you.
No, it is
Bye-bye.
true. I mean, you rather would deal with someone, at least if they're honest. If he's honest, he's honest. You can understand the guy. You don't have to always be thinking about what does he mean.
Right, and it also helps if he's littler than you.
It does.
1-888-CAR-TALK or 1-888-227-8255. Hello, you're on Car Talk.
Hello,
Yes, sounds like a telegraph office. Who's this?
Shawn.
Shawn.
Shawn, S-H-A-W-N?
That's right.
Where you from?
Portland, Oregon.
Portland,
Sorry,
Oregon.
I'm canning ketchup, and I wasn't sure you were talking to me.
You're
It's boiling.
canning?
That's what it is.
That's what we hear. We hear the rumbling of the
Yes, but now I'm going to go
the
away
mason
from
jars in the pot.
Pardon me?
That we hear the rumbling of the
Rumbling
mason
of jars in the pot.
mason
Boiling away?
Boiling ketchup.
ketchup.
Uh-huh.
That's what you do with tomatoes?
That's what you're getting for Christmas. That's what everybody's
That's what everyone's getting for Christmas. How do you make ketchup? You just take tomatoes and you grind them all up and you throw about 2 pounds of sugar in, and that's
whole
it,
bunch
right?
of sugar, whole bunch of
Vinegar.
and then, allspice and mace and things like that.
Mace.
It doesn't taste like Heinz.
Isn't that dangerous?
It
What do
does-
you do? Spray it on someone when they attack you?
It doesn't taste like Heinz. I'm sure it doesn't, because otherwise you wouldn't go through all the
Right.
bother
Why
of
would
making
I
your
bother?
own. So what else do you can and jar?
We canned some cranberry chutney
Oh.
and some hot Moroccan oil. It's so hot that you probably, I don't know if you like spicy things.
Oh.
It's very spicy.
I love hot things. My wife buys a little bottle of this stuff called Mongolian fire oil.
This is what this is like.
I tell you, man, you can take any kind of junk. My wife is the worst cook in creation, but you sprinkle 2 drops of Mongolian fire oil on it,
And give him a 6-pack of beer. And he's happy.
and it's great.
Well, it sounds like you need that for Christmas, too.
Yeah, I'll take the Mongolian fire oil instead of the ketchup.
So anyway, Shawn, what's up?
Well, I have an old Volvo, 74 Volvo sedan,
Wow.
200,000 miles.
Yeah.
And it vibrates when you get up above about 50 miles an hour. It vibrates so much that you can't even hear another person in the car.
Wow.
And I took it to 2 mechanics, and the first one kind of tried to balance it, and that didn't help. And the second person said to call Car Talk. He seriously did. I think I was a little
What did they
frustrated
look
with
at?
him. And, pardon me?
What did they look at?
They put it up on the rack,
Yeah.
technical term.
Yeah,
And they looked underneath, and they said, it looks fine.
So they didn't take any pieces off and study
Well, I
anything?
wasn't there.
You weren't
so
there.
He said he put it up on the rack and looked at it, and so I don't know what he did, really.
Well, I mean, first of all, vibrations like that can be awfully dangerous.
It's very scary. I mean, I don't take it on the freeway anymore.
Yeah, because, I mean, when it's shaking like that, it means that something that's holding the wheels together is loose or ready to break.
Oh.
So, I mean, I would hope that they would have checked all 4 ball joints
Uh-huh.
and all tie rods, tie rod ends.
Yeah, except there isn't any of that stuff.
Write this
My
down.
brother's an alarmist.
No, I know what it is. I mean, I just say you should check all of that thing, but I think it's not none of those things, too, as a
But
matter
see,
of
it
fact.
only happens when you accelerate.
Yes. What
Yeah.
it is the center bearing on the
You've
drive shaft.
got it! That
Okay.
car has a split drive shaft.
2 pieces.
Yeah.
And supporting the front piece of the drive shaft is a bearing, a ball bearing, which is a rubber cage that goes around it, and it's probably all worn out. And what's actually happening is it's hitting the underside of the floor. Or not the underside. Yeah, the underside.
Well, that's the other thing. The front seat, the floor on the front seat gets really hot. Like if you have your feet on the floor,
Well, that's nice in the winter.
that's not in winter.
I don't think they're
However,
related to each
No,
other.
they're unrelated.
They're not. Okay.
But I think it's probably the drive shaft that is making all this
So it's
vibration.
dangerous to drive.
Well,
it like
it's
this?
only dangerous in that the drive it's eventually going to break because the drive shaft is going to tear loose from its moorings and it's going to rip that cage right off the frame.
And that's going to be exciting when it
Yeah,
happens.
you'll hear a lot of noises, but right now you're getting a boom, 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 boom when you take off.
It's really well, not so much when I first take off. It's when I get to a higher.
You know, you may also have a seized U joint, but there's no way they can just put it on the lift and look at things. In order to determine if you have a seized universal joint or a seized hanger bearing, they've got to take the drive shaft out. It takes about 10 minutes.
Right. This bearing in the middle that's holding up the center of the drive shaft is called a hanger bearing.
Or center bearing or whatever.
Hanger bearing.
So tell them to take a look at the hanger bearing, and if that looks okay, tell them to take out the drive shaft and check the universal joints.
Okay.
And do it soon. And happy canning, Shawn.
Okay.
You're going to send us each a jar of this homemade ketchup, or we're going to get one to share?
Get botulism or anything. You can't do.
Right.
Have a nice holiday.
You too.
You too. Bye-bye. Thanks for calling.
All right, it's time to take another short break.
What break? Why do you always want to take a break?
Well, for one thing, your hair's on fire. And I thought I'd go get the extinguisher and put it out.
All right. We'll be back in a minute.
Day I bought my first car, $100 down. Signed some papers, turned the key, and I drove all over town. Well, I honked the horn, I revved the engine, I pumped the brakes real hard. I kicked some gravel, talked real smooth, and I bought myself a car. I'm going driving, I'm going driving. I'm going driving in my first car.
And even though the NPR elocution coach sobs into her chamomile tea whenever she hears us say it, this is NPR.
We like to think of Car Talk as an oasis, an hour when you can tune out the stresses in your life and worry about important things like electric brakes on a cattle trailer or cream rinse. And when muttering about what idiots we are gets to be too stressful, well, you can move on to the next show. But we're here for you, as long as you can stand it. And that's because of your support to your favorite station. Before 2017 ends, how about making one last donation to your station? Just go to donate.npr.org/cartalk and then share why you donated using the hashtag WhyPublicRadio. Thanks. Ha! We're back. You're listening to Car Talk with us, Click and Clack, the Tapper Brothers, and we're here to discuss cars, car repair, and the new Puzzler.
Don't have an attitude anymore. Come on, just tell it to us.
All right, here it is. This is stolen somewhat from an email I got from a long time ago.
And let's not forget, the last one was stolen from someone, too. So you're not responsible.
There you go.
You're just a damn thief.
All right, here we go. Our erstwhile companion and chief mechanic, Vinny Gumbatz, being renowned for his prowess in arm wrestling, is asked to set up a tournament at the local watering hole where he goes and gets stewed every night.
Yeah.
It's to be a single elimination tournament, i.e., once you lose, you're out. No ties allowed. This is arm wrestling. You can't have a tie in arm wrestling, right? To his horror, 247 people have signed up for this tournament, and the barkeeper wants to know how many bouts have to be fought. I mean, figuring the bout takes like 5 minutes, he wants to know at what time he should start the event so that it will conclude before closing time.
Yeah.
Right? You got it?
I got it.
Okay. So Vinny is, he's in a tizzy now because he's thinking about, I got to set up a branching tree, count all the branches, and since he can't count much beyond 14, he's in a tizzy. Fortunately, there's a little guy sitting next to Vinny at the bar, and the guy says, I know the answer. Vinny says, what are you, some kind of genius or something? The guy says, no, but there is a simple reasoning process which will allow you to instantly know how many bouts have to be fought.
Yeah.
The question is, if there are 247 people that signed up, how many bouts will they have to be?
In order to determine one winner.
There you go.
With a single round elimination.
And show your work.
Show all work. No partial credit.
Now, if you think you know the answer, write it on the back of a $20. And by the way, when the bout starts, both hands of the clock are 180 degrees apart. If you think you know the answer, write it on the back of a $20 bill or a piece of wet firewood or a broken clock and send it to Puzzler Tower, Car Talk Plaza, Box 3500, Harvard Square, Cambridge.
Our fair city.
Matt 02238. Or you can email your answers from cartalk.com. If you'd like to call us, the number is 1-888-CAR-TALK. That's
888-227-8255. Even Michael Jordan didn't score a basket every time he shot.
Oh, shut up.
Hello, you're on. He missed a few free throws.
All
once.
right.
Hello, you're on.
Baby.
Hello, you're on Car Talk.
This is Damian.
Damian.
Where you from, Damian?
With an A or an E?
With an A.
An A as in Pythias.
Yes.
Yes.
I guess.
Yeah.
I'm
Damon.
calling from Vineland, New Jersey.
Vineland, New Jersey.
Yeah.
So what's on your mind, Damian?
Well, I got an 82 Volkswagen Jetta.
Yeah. Really?
Car.
Uh-huh.
But I also have a fiance who doesn't like the car. I hear a lot of people on your talk show that have fiancés that don't like cars, and my fiancée is one of them. She doesn't like my Volkswagen.
Yeah.
Why? Not upscale enough for her?
I guess.
Not fancy enough?
Well, I've had, I bought it, with low mileage, and I bought it, and it's doing well, but right now, you have to put yourself in a situation, okay?
Okay, we're ready.
Okay, and you have to be in a busy intersection, and right before you got to pull out, you're riding the clutch, and when you pull out and you start out in first gear, you hear this, yeah, and like when the car raises and you feel it, but I feel it in the stick shift. It goes,
And the car is moving?
yes, the car's, I'm starting off.
And it just lasts for that amount of time, and then it goes away while the car continues moving.
Exactly.
But it only happens when you first take off from a dead stop quickly.
Quickly.
Got it, quickly.
And it was initially it was a small grunt. It was now it's a
I love it. Is this what is disturbing her about the car, or is it the odor or something in the car? Is there something else about the car?
What's that?
And if we can manage to fix this for you, will she then like the car?
No, she'll start complaining about something else.
Yeah.
Dump her now.
Exactly.
What do you love more, your girlfriend or your car?
Well,
at this point, is she listening?
I love her, of course.
Yes,
Yeah.
chicken.
But I'm kind of wondering what if I should do something to this car.
Yeah.
It's I don't know.
No, you should do something.
Yes.
You should do something. What's wrong with this is you have a broken motor mount. In fact, just a few weeks ago in the shop, we had an old Jetta or something like this, a Rabbit or a Golf, I don't remember, they're all the same, that had exactly the same problem, and this thing had two broken motor mounts. And when one broke, it made the other one break because there were only three, and it was two were doing the work of three, and then you know,
break. Yeah, you got it.
You got it, right?
Yeah.
And the engine was actually lifting up off the frame, and the what was making the noise. It may not be the case with your car, but it probably is.
Let me guess. The fan.
Yeah, the fan on the alternator. The alternator has a little fan on it that cools the alternator. Was hitting the air cleaner, and it was chewing up the plastic on it, and it was making this sound. And it's very likely. It's very easy for your mechanic to check. You can check it yourself.
Okay.
Here's what you do. Does your handbrake work?
Yes.
Well, just in case, don't stand in front of the thing. Stand to the side.
Or park it right up against the telephone pole.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Raise the hood.
Yes.
Have your girlfriend sit in the car. She drives, I trust.
Absolutely.
Have her put it in first gear and try to drive it away with the handbrake set while you watch the engine.
Okay.
You will be amazed at what's going to happen. The engine is going to leap out at you and bite your nose. No, it's going to leap. It's going to leap off the mounts,
Okay.
and it's going to seem to be rising out of the engine compartment. And at the same time, you may even see sparks fly, and who knows?
Right. And you will hear the noise, and you'll be able to tell where the noise is coming from.
The noise is coming from the passenger side of the vehicle. I bet.
Yes, absolutely. I think so.
Yeah. Stand over there, and you'll see what's happening, and then rush to your mechanic and get your motor mounts replaced.
You guys are great.
See you,
So
David.
are you, David.
Good luck, and get your motor mounts fixed before the engine falls out on the street.
Thanks for calling, Damian.
Take it easy.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
1-888-CAR-TALK or 1-888-227-8255. Hello, you're on Car Talk.
Hi, this is Judy, and I'm from Freeport, Maine.
Freeport, home of you know what?
Yes.
Yeah, of
Just
L.L. Bean.
Beamn.
M.N., yeah.
So anyway, Judy,
Well, thanks for calling.
Well, I have a problem that I'm hoping if you can solve this puzzler, that you're going to save my poor retiree mother like $26.99, because she's gotten this book. Actually, it's not a book. It's an ad promoting a book of New England remedies and how to do things for cheap. And it's a lot of come-ons, like, do you know how to clean your pots and pans with
Right.
ketchup and all of that. We won't name the publication because it was a premium from public radio. But
Really?
here's the stumper. There's this statement, and she's ready to buy the book. And I said, don't do it. I know who will know the answer if anyone does.
Oh, yeah, we know everything.
Okay, 95% of the wear on your car's engine can easily be eliminated by using an old blanket, allowing the car to run trouble-free for a decade.
Okay.
What do you think?
Oh, I see. When you buy this book, they're going to tell you what to do with the
They'll
blanket.
tell you how you can use a blanket to eliminate 95% of the wear on your car's engine and allow your car to run trouble-free for a decade.
I know they're going to tell you to take the blanket, cover the engine in the winter,
Yeah.
put a light bulb underneath the blanket between it and the engine.
Yeah,
Is that all?
that's it.
I think so.
I like that.
Yeah.
Just eliminating 95% of the
Right,
wear.
and if you're lucky, everything catches fire and the engine won't wear out anymore because it's burned up.
You get your insurance.
Well, and here's the rationale behind it. When it's very cold,
Yeah.
all the oil, like all kinds of stuff, gets sort of thick and gooey. And even though they tell you that that's not true, of course it's true.
Mm-hmm.
And don't forget, the oil is all at the bottom of the engine in that oil pan down there called the sump.
Yeah.
And so all the pieces that need to be lubricated are up above it.
So how do you do the light bulb without burning up the
here's the
blanket?
thing. If you go in there and try to start your car on a very, very cold day, for a few moments, I don't know what those moments are, but for a few moments, the oil didn't get to where it ought to be because it's so cold and thick.
Uh-huh.
Whereas, if you take the blanket, cover up the engine, stick a light bulb under it, it will keep the oil nice and warm and toasty and therefore able to flow better.
Did you put the light bulb under the hood?
You put the light bulb under the hood,
Under the blanket, actually.
And the blanket?
Yeah, you don't want it to touch the blanket because then you'll have a conflagration.
No, it probably doesn't make a difference.
Then it's even better then because the fire will keep the oil. But if you just want the blanket to keep the heat down there and not let it escape out the top.
I think that she's not going to buy the book for sure.
Well, someone's got to buy it.
No, I mean,
I don't know if we're right.
The truth is that's good. They're right.
Yeah.
Of course, if you happen to live in Miami Beach, it ain't going to help you a hell of a lot.
That's why they weren't giving. That's why Miami Public Radio wasn't giving these out.
That's right.
Great. Well, thanks a lot.
Hey,
All
good
right,
question, Judy. Thank you.
Bye.
See you later. 1-888-CAR TALK or 1-888-227-8255. Hello, you're on Car Talk.
Hello, my name is Dennis.
Hi, Dennis.
I'm from Minneapolis.
Is that Dennis with one N or two?
Two N's.
And you're from Minneapolis. M-I-N-N-I-N.
That's with two N's also.
What's up, Dennis?
Minneapolis.
Yes.
What's
I
up?
have a 1989 Taurus.
Uh-huh.
Dark blue.
We don't have to know the color.
Not yet.
That's not important.
Well, actually, the whole car has nothing else to do with the question, but I thought you might be interested in what I'm driving.
Oh, okay. Wise guy.
Do we need another wise guy? How are you, Dennis?
I know, three's the crowd, right?
Dark blue, 97 grand.
Okay. This question has to do with driving.
Yeah.
Every once in a while, I make a mistake while I'm driving. Nothing illegal.
Me too. The insurance company knows about all of mine.
No, I'm not
Not
talking
that
about
kind.
a wreck, and I'm not talking about anything illegal.
A
but-
little faux pas in
Yeah.
driving
That's right.
etiquette.
That's right.
You
Something
cut
that's
someone
annoying
off.
to those other drivers around or behind me.
Yeah, and I know what your question is.
What's that?
How do you apologize?
You're right.
What gesture do you make?
Right,
We
it
need to
is.
develop a universal symbol for apology. We already know what the universal symbol for disdain is. Which finger do you use to indicate
Yeah.
apology?
This, I mean,
Would it be a thumb? No.
No.
Maybe the baby finger.
baby finger.
The baby finger of the right hand is sufficiently diminutive
Well-
to show remorse and apology. I think that the baby finger held up should become the universal symbol for I screwed up and I'm sorry.
Well, you know, to some extent, I blame the automobile manufacturers. They were fine in making a horn for the car, and the horn, every car
It's offensive. It's an
it's
offensive
an
weapon.
offensive sound. There is no mechanism by which you can communicate with anyone in any other car except by means of obscene gestures or the horn, which is not acceptable. So, to some extent, I think that the automobile manufacturers are at fault for not supplying us with something. But on the other hand, we've been putting up with it for these 100 years, and we're not going to stand for it anymore.
So do we want to have a whiner? So we have a horn and a whiner?
We could have a whiner that says, oh, my God.
Well, actually, the other symbol that works pretty well, I mean, obviously, the pinky finger is something we're going to have to work on.
Well, I've got an alternative suggestion.
You do?
Yes.
See,
Yes.
I had like the mechanic shrug.
No, smashing the
palm of the hand on the forehead.
Right.
Boy, am I stupid. But, Dennis, you probably have something even better.
Well, we'll see. What it is, it's the OK symbol. You know, you hold your index finger and your thumb together and hold the other three up.
Anytime you raise your hand, you'll run the risk
I know, that's
of ambiguity.
But see, we have a circle and three fingers as opposed to just one.
Yeah, no, I don't think
finger.
there'll be any ambiguity there at close range. But it doesn't mean I'm sorry. See, that's the problem. It means everything's okay, which means I cut you off and you're in the ditch and everything is okay. But it isn't okay.
Yeah.
But at least it's okay.
Well, how about the universal oops? You raise your hand to your mouth. Oops.
One idea that I had, which this monograph will be available for the general public very soon. But another idea I had was I was going to talk to someone who knew sign language to find out.
I know what the sign for sorry is.
What is the sign for sorry?
You make, well, actually the letter S is kind of a fist, but you rub it on your chest. That's
you rub it on your
feeling
chest.
Sorry. However, you really can't.
You can't do that.
You can't do that. Like nobody in the rearview mirror can see that.
Yeah.
Of course, we've also thought of having a little sign. If you're a what do they call it? A frequent offender, you can have made up a little sign that's on a popsicle stick that says "Sorry," that you can hold up, and obviously that conveys the message.
My brother actually has one of those electronic billboards on the back of his truck, and he can just punch in any message.
Right. You can have the sign written backwards too, so people can read it in their rearview mirror.
Yeah.
So when they pull out in front to cut you off, to reciprocate, if you're having cut them off, you can hold the sign that says "Sorry," and they can read it in the rearview mirror.
But Dennis, you have put your finger, I think, on one of the major problems of this century.
Yes. Now, does this happen when the tank is more than half full?
What color is this Taurus?
Dennis, you're a good sport. Been nice talking to you.
Okay, thanks.
See you later.
Bye-bye.
Well, it's happened again. You've wasted another perfectly good hour listening to Car Talk. Our esteemed producer is Doug the Subway Fugitive, not a slave to fashion, Bongo Boy Berman. Our associate producers are David the Calves of Belleville Green and Catherine Frau Blooper Penalosa. Our web lackey is Doug the Old Gray Mare, assisted by Connie Britchford. Our theme music is by David Dog Risman, and our technical, spiritual, and menu advisor, just back from the Calgary Cattleman's Beef Off, is John Bugsy Lawler.
Where is he?
He's right here.
Wow.
Saying, I'll get you for this. Our public opinion pollster is Paul Murky of Murky Research, assisted by statistician Margie Novera. Our director of Satisfied Customer Relations is Norma Lee Nunn. Norma Lee Nunn.
Satisfied customer.
Our new truck
Nunn.
reviewer is the big new rig. The Car Talk Plaza short order cook is Art Byrne. Our divorce attorney is Carmine Not Yours. Our director of genealogical research is Manny Cousins. The Car Talk lottery ticket coordinator is Jason Rainbows. Our director of holiday visits to the in-laws is Don Wongo. Our Russian chauffeur is Pikov and Dropov. The banker at Car Talk Plaza Poker Games is Nikolai Putin. And our seat cushion tester, of course, is Mike Easter. Our chief counsel from the law firm of Dewey, Cheatham Howell is Louis Dewey, known to the bummed-out shoppers wondering whatever happened to all those funky stores in Harvard Square as Huey Louie Dewey. Thanks so much for listening. We're Click and Clack, the Tappert Brothers, and above all, don't drive like my brother.
And above all, don't drive like his brother.
We'll be back next week. Bye-bye. You can get a podcast of this show, which is number 1749. Subscribe to our weekly podcast and check out our guaranteed to be re-gifted clothing and best of collections all over at cartalk.com. Also this week at cartalk.com, a fabulous year-end way to save a few bucks on your taxes.
Does it involve the Cayman Islands, waste management holding companies, and a guy named Vito?
Not exactly.
It's the Car Talk Vehicle Donation Program.
You donate your used car to support your local NPR station and deduct the amount the station gets for it. Get more information at cartalk.com.
That's the Car Talk Vehicle Donation Program this week at cartalk.com. Car Talk is a production of Dewey Cheatham Howe and WBUR in Boston.
And even though text messages select NPR and then type ENUF whenever we say it, this is NPR.